Hello friend, welcome back to my mom's house. This
Hi
is my
there.
mom, Susan. If you guys haven't met, my name is Becky. And today we are prepping just one thing in order to have a party on Saturday. Today is Thursday and we are celebrating a baby shower this coming weekend. We originally were going to have just a traditional baby shower for my sister, but then we had to go out of town for a funeral. And so we've changed it up a little bit. Instead of doing, like ladies and brunch, the baby shower has turned into a family barbecue.
Plus guests.
Yes, yeah.
And a birthday party for a granddaughter we missed because we were out of town.
Yeah, so we are preparing the sides for my mom said about 40 people we're planning for. So my sister is doing the main smoked pulled pork sandwiches. We are doing creamy Chipotle roasted salad that is delicious with carrots and cauliflower. It's a really just yummy salad. We're gonna do baked beans, coleslaw, collard greens, fruit salad, and my mom right now is going to prepare a lemon poppy seed cake to decorate for
the shower.
Yes. And
the granddaughter wants brownies out of a mix, from a mix, for her birthday dessert.
So today is Thursday. We just went shopping in case you missed it, and we got all the things we need in order to make all these sides for this party. But we are going to go ahead and bake the cake now so that we can freeze it so that when I come back tomorrow, my mom can decorate it. She's got a very cute design that my sister requested that she make. So while she gets going on the cake, I'm going to actually zest the lemons and juice the lemons for her. And then I'm gonna get going on the not the pound cake, the baked beans.
Now my KitchenAid mixer is probably 30 years old. I did not know you could get replacement attachments. My attachments were some sort of metal with white enamel, which had all chipped up on this blade. And this piece was the kind of metal that when you touch it, it leaves gray on your hands. So I just went on Amazon, and these are stainless steel. Which
is what I need to get because mine are starting to chip too, and you all recommended getting stainless steel attachments.
I'm very grateful. Thank you for mentioning it to her, because she mentioned it to me, and I've used them probably a half a dozen times, and I love them.
You do? Good. Okay, I'll go ahead and order myself some. So while my mom is gonna get going on the cake, I guess I'm helping her with the cake too. I'm just zesting these 3 lemons. Do you want all 3 of them zested, Mom?
Probably. Okay. I mean, there's no reason why not to.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of like garlic. More is better.
Yeah. The zest part of the lemon is what gives you the lemon flavor because it has the essential oils, but it doesn't give you any tartness, any extra tartness. And I saw somewhere that said if you use the lemon juice, use the zest as well. So I'm trying to get better about making sure I use zest in things. And then I'll go ahead and juice these for you too, Mom.
Yes, here's the juicer.
We just went shopping for all the ingredients we need for all these things, except the one thing we forgot was this fresh lemon. So my dad did
his faithful ministry to us to get what we forget.
We almost always forget at least one thing, and so he always does us a huge favor and runs to the store for us. And then I see that you have milk measured out here, Mom.
I do.
Do you have that acidifying, or is that just measured out milk that you need?
It's just milk I need for this.
Thought maybe you were making buttermilk or something.
Nope.
I've seen the new style of these where they go sideways instead of like this, which looks kind of interesting.
Well, what I do, I don't know if you ever do it, is I turn it over and do it both ways.
Yeah, that's what you turn this part over?
Yes, and then squeeze it.
That's a good idea.
Because you can get more out of it that way. And if you cut that knob off, then you can get more out of it too.
That's a great idea.
I just put a half a cup of butter in there. Oh, you got me in the arm.
Sorry.
Nice and fresh. It smells so good. This recipe calls for half a teaspoon of vanilla, but vanilla and lemon, more is better than ooh. What do you think that is?
I think it's the
vanilla seeds?
I think it's the vanilla seeds, yeah.
Well, see, this is clear vanilla. I bought this for a recipe for making actually a white cake, and you didn't want any color in it, but this would have little black floaties. Are you sure that's what they are?
I think so.
It smells fine.
Yeah, I think it's the seeds. I think.
Well, let's see what says what's in it. Pure vanilla. Vanilla pura. Must be Spanish. So my guess, vanilla beans inside.
Yeah, I think
yes,
so.
Must be the vanilla beans. Okay. More sugar. Okay. It says to beat 1 to 2 minutes. Don't skimp on beating it. We want it to be nice and fluffy. And the sugar and the butter all incorporated. Otherwise, it makes the fudgy texture.
Dense cake. For Easter, I made a lemon poppy seed cake and it was okay. I am still working on my cake baking skills, and this one that my mom makes is fantastic. So I will link this recipe plus all the other ones that we'll be making down below if you want to try them yourself. You can see how light and fluffy that is.
I'm going to add the eggs one at a time.
One of the big mistakes I made the first time I tried making the lemon poppy seed cake that I made for Easter is I did not whisk the fat and the sugar together for a few minutes like the recipe called for. And so the cake was flat and dense and not fluffy at all. And so it really is key to making sure you whisk the eggs and the fat together for a good 3 minutes, 4 minutes, so it can get nice, light, and fluffy.
Now we're going to alternate the dry ingredients with the lemon juice and the milk in 2 batches.
Now, a lot of times when you see my mom and I work with layered cakes, we're working with frozen cake. And there's a couple of reasons why. We get a lot of questions about that. Now, the first reason, I think why my mom started doing it and then I followed suit, is when my mom needs to make a cake for an occasion, typically there's a lot more she needs to do for that occasion than just bake a cake. And so one thing she can do in advance, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, is she can bake the cake portion, wrap it really well, and then freeze it, and then she can decorate it right before the event. And it's just one less thing to have to do when she's got like a birthday we're celebrating or a holiday or whatever it might be. But we learned a very good lesson that not only is it nice to have the cake baked and frozen because it can save yourself time when you've got your event coming up, but also it makes for decorating the cake a whole lot easier. We have a couple big challenges to overcome when it comes to decorating this cake because we work with fresh, unfrozen cake. And you all might be able to give us some tips and tricks working with fresh cake, but you will see why we like to work with frozen cake. Those are the poppy seeds I bought to plant.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I didn't get any to germinate though.
Oh, well, maybe they put a germinator.
Eradicator on
Yeah.
it. Yeah, maybe.
Terminator.
Yeah. That looks good, Mom. Nice and light and fluffy.
Let's check the oven temperature because I just turned it on at, yep. Did you turn it up to 350? No.
So this is going to be a 3-day process to make all the food for this party. So the first day we went shopping, already did that, and then we wanted to bake this cake so we could go ahead and freeze it so we can decorate it tomorrow. And then tomorrow we'll be back and we'll do almost all the prep and get everything ready to go. And then the day of the party, everything will come together. And I'm going to show you basically from start to finish the entire thing. And we are not going to need any more baking stuff, I don't think, tomorrow, right? So
not really not because the brownies are in a mix.
Yeah.
You know, Ghirardelli's.
Yeah.
The
Costco.
Best. Yeah, the
Costco
best.
brownies. So I'm going to go ahead and get all this put away. And my mom's going to get the batter into, that doesn't go in there. I think all the rest of these go in here. I went ahead and prepared the baking pans.
Oh, and you did a great job. I don't know if any of you have ever used parchment circles and spray. If you don't spray the pan and then put it on and then spray and smooth it down, the bubbles are strong enough to resist the cake batter. The cake batter isn't going to push them out, and you'll have very deformed layers. Ask me how I know. Oh, they smell so good.
It does. While my mom's putting the cakes in the oven, there's one other thing we're gonna do today, and that's to get the dried beans soaking. And I can finish taking care of these dishes for the baked beans. So these beans can then soak overnight. So we bought the exact amount of beans we need. So I'm just gonna get these white beans in this bowl.
We didn't quite do exact. We eyeballed it by cups. But
We
it's all right.
eyeballed
It
it.
doesn't matter. It's not a baking science. Eyeball it. I never measure it exactly for baked beans.
So I'm gonna go ahead and wash these. And I'm just checking to see if there's any that don't look super great. And I'll take those out. That one looks a little questionable, so I'm gonna go ahead and toss that one. We're gonna make these in the crock pot. We're not actually gonna start cooking these today. We're just gonna soak them overnight. So I'm going to cover them with a good amount of water. And that's all the prep we're gonna do on this first day. I will see you back tomorrow. I'm gonna head home now.
And my traffic.
Yeah. And my mom is gonna take the cakes out of the oven when they're done. Did you set a timer, Mom?
I did set a timer, 22 minutes.
22 minutes. So you'll see what those look like tomorrow when are you gonna freeze those tonight and we'll decorate the cake from frozen?
Yeah, probably. And I gave you some egg cartons, so if your girls are faithful and producing, I'll take some more eggs.
Hello, friend. We are back.
Hi there.
And my mom is decorating this cake for my sister. She has I'll put a picture of what my sister would like for the cake, the inspiration.
Oh, now that's pressure.
Oh, I guess I don't have to put the picture.
Maybe we'll just show what my version looks like.
Okay, I won't show the picture. But one thing is, it's a very tall cake, and my mom got little like decorations to put on it.
She sent them. They're like this.
Oh, I didn't know that you already had them.
I took them out to look at the size of things. If you can see that, it's a moon. And then it
You'll
says,
see it on the cake.
welcome. It's about that big. Welcome, baby, or something. But
The cake's not quite tall enough. All that to say,
it's supposed to go like this. Welcome, but then you put a welcome world.
welcome to the world, probably.
Yeah, something like that. But the cake's not big enough.
So my mom is going to make another set of 3 cakes so she can have one that's twice as tall, so she'll be able to decorate it a little bit better. And while she's getting going on baking another set of 3 cakes, I'm gonna get going on the collard greens. My mom has never made Southern styled collard greens, so we are gonna follow a recipe. And all these recipes that we're gonna be making, I will link down below if you wanna try them yourself. But while I'm washing the collard greens, because there's quite a washing process, according to the recipe, I'm gonna get the lower oven preheated to 450 because one of the salads we're gonna be making is a roasted salad. It's gonna be a chilled salad, but we need to roast the vegetables first. So that can go ahead and preheat while I wash these greens. So I have a big bowl here, and according to the recipe, we need to soak these collard greens in some vinegar water solution for a little bit. So what I think I'm gonna do, kind of what the recipe says to do, is to wash the leaves and then remove the stem from the leaves.
Why do you think they soak them in vinegar?
I am not sure.
I mean,
It just says
they're
to soak.
pretty easy to make sure there's no bugs on them. And sometimes you soak your vegetables that are hard to get the bugs out.
Maybe it's to tenderize it. I don't know.
I don't know.
So I'm gonna go ahead and just.
Maybe somebody knows and they'll tell us.
Yes, I'm sure. If you know why we're soaking the leaves in vinegar, let us know. So I'm just going to remove the stem from the leaves and break this up into smaller bite-sized pieces and get that into the bowl. I think I'm gonna wash all of these and then peel them off the stems. So we're gonna wash them, or we're gonna rinse them again after we soak them in the vinegar solution. So a friend on Instagram sent me a video today where there was a trick where to juice lemons, you just put a hole. Oop, well, that kind of was a big hole, but in the bottom, can I try juicing? That's just water.
I'm not strong enough.
Oh yeah, that kind of works, but you would definitely
get more out with it, with more pressure. Oh.
I mean, I guess I just broke it in half.
But I'll put it in here and smash it anyway.
So now I'm gonna fill this up with water and put 1 cup of distilled vinegar in it, so that's half this bottle. And we're gonna let this soak for 15 minutes. My mom and I have both eaten our fair share of southern greens, but we've never made it before. So any tips and tricks, if you see me doing something that you think could help in the future, I'd greatly appreciate it. I have grown southern greens in my garden, but I never knew how to cook them. So they just ended up being really delicious chicken snacks for my chickens. And so if these turn out well, or if you give me tips and tricks, it would be good to know so that I could grow them and make them
all
myself.
I've done with them is slice them and saute them in like stir fries.
Oh, yeah.
Or in egg dishes.
One thing the recipe does call for is a onion. So I'm just cutting up an onion here. Mom, your knife is nice and sharp, which is wonderful.
I just sharpened it.
I can tell. And I'm just dicing this kind of like a small to medium dice. And then I'm gonna get a big pot, and we are going to cook these to start with in a pot. And then we're only gonna par cook them, and then we are going to finish them in a crock pot tomorrow. So I need a big pot, Mom.
You're looking in the right place.
I am? Okay. Just need to get, oh yeah, that should.
Down below. Okay, yeah, that's my biggest, I mean, I have the giant one. Let me go look.
Did you find it?
Yes.
Awesome. Oh, perfect. Yeah, that'll work
That's the
great.
one I was looking for.
Thank you.
Top needs to be dusted.
Okay. This recipe calls for smoked salt and red pepper. My mom has this smoked chili salt, so we thought that this would be good, and it looks like there's a little bit of coriander and some other yummy spices. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some of that in here. And I'm gonna turn this down. That's way too hot already. That smells fantastic. What is in this? I don't know where she got this. Sea salt, chili, cumin seeds, coriander seeds, clove, and smoked aromas. Yum. Mom, where did you get this? Smoked salt.
I think I got it in Texas at like a home goods type store, wandering around, you know.
It smells fantastic.
Oh no, Aldi's.
Oh,
Aldi's. I knew it was
we don't have an Aldi's.
And I was in Florida.
Oh, nice.
With Aunt Mary.
Was it in like the kind of specialty things, or was it in the spice
It was
aisle?
in the spices.
Oh,
they
wow.
had a bunch of, you know, exotic spices. And that sounded like it would be very tasty.
It smells incredible.
You can see I've used a good amount of it.
Yeah, it smells good.
And yeah.
So my mom keeps whole peeled frozen garlic in her freezer, and it just makes it really nice to not have to peel garlic. So I'm gonna chop up a good handful of these. That's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 cloves.
And they actually smash really easily as they thaw. Because, you know, they've been frozen.
Look at that.
Yeah, I think they're just a lot easier to handle. Obviously, they're not fresh, but they're not really, I mean, in cooked things, you can't tell the difference. Do you have enough?
I think so, yeah.
It is important if you buy this garlic at Costco in a huge bag to double bag it for the freezer, unless you want everything that's in there to smell like garlic.
No, thank you.
And sometimes I end up having to put another bag over it.
As much as we love garlic, I don't want my ice cream.
I was going to say, popsicles, not very good.
No.
Yep, that was And the sugar is 1.5 cups.
I'm gonna make the broth for the collards. So I was reading the recipe on how to wash these, and it says if you need to soak them again, you can. But these collards are pretty clean, so I think what I'm gonna do is just rinse them off one more time. And I think we can go ahead and get these into our pot. But first what I should do is actually get that garlic in there. I think I'm gonna go ahead and turn the heat off and let the residual heat cook that garlic while we finish washing our collards. Forgot the lemon zest in the lemon cake. It'll probably be okay. You could add that into the frosting. Oh, but then you want the color. You could add it into the lemon curd. I brought lemon curd to fill the cake with.
I could do that.
Okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and fill this bowl up with water. All right, this is going into the pot now. What I'm gonna do first though is reread the recipe. One thing my mom does is she likes to tape her recipes onto her cupboards, especially when we do these big cooking days, and it's very helpful. So this is the one we're following right here. So at this point, we now have the greens that are clean. And so now we need to saute the onions and peppers and garlic, which we did that, pour in the turkey broth and the ham hock, bring that to a boil before we add the collard greens. So I'm glad I rechecked that recipe. My mom is gonna get going on the brownies because we're gonna celebrate my niece's birthday and she requested brownies. And while she's doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and just take this knife and run it through these greens just so that these pieces are just a tad smaller than how I originally broke them up.
I've made brownies before for fancy events, and I don't know about you, but when I've done them in a pan and then tried to cut them in the pan, the brownie gets stuck on the knife and draws up, and it's not nearly as neat and tidy as I like to serve it fancy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut parchment paper to make a bed, line it with, and then I can use the parchment paper to pick it up, put it on a cutting board, and then instead of trying to draw a knife through it, I can take a knife and push it straight down.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And it just makes really nicer cuts. It makes brownies look fancier. But again, I'm gonna put the spray on the bottom and...
Just like you do with your cakes?
Yep, just like I do with my cakes. Well, you probably don't need to. There's a lot of grease in brownies.
Now there's 2 ham hocks here, Mom. Should I put both of them in or just one?
I would. Well, I don't know what I'd do with the other ham hock.
Okay.
Now I should get nice even corners, so only maybe the 4 corner pieces aren't going to be perfect edges.
It's gonna take a minute for that 10 cups of liquid to come to a boil. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these beans strained that we started soaking yesterday for the baked beans while that's coming up to a boil.
2 eggs.
We're gonna make these baked beans directly in the crock pot. So Mom, once I put these beans back in the crock pot, do I just cover with water then?
Yeah.
Okay.
And put the rest of the stuff in.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm not going to finish that until something comes out of the oven.
For the baked beans, I need to saute some onions and bacon.
Now I can get it better in here.
These are our favorite brownies.
They are, comes in a big box, 4 packages to the box. And once I've taken a couple of the packages out, I usually cut the box apart. So I keep the directions and rubber band the envelopes to the remaining envelopes to the box with the recipe. Takes up less room.
I think this is my sign that I don't cook with ham hocks enough because it already smells incredible in here. Oh my goodness, that smells so good. Or it could be the bacon that I'm smelling, but whatever it is, it's starting to smell incredible in here. So now we've got our wash collards, and that's the timer for the cake. I think these bottom ones I could cut a little bit smaller. Oh, the brownies already smell good too.
Looking good. Coming behind you.
Beautiful.
10 minutes.
Well, we could turn this oven up now for the veggies.
Yes.
Ooh, not that hot. What the collards say to do is have them simmer. It's on the other side of this. Cover and cook collards for 1 hour or longer, depending on desired tenderness. Stir regularly. Once done, stir and then taste the broth and greens. Add a little water if the broth is too bold for your liking. Stir in vinegar and smoked salt. We already added the smoked salt and black pepper if desired. So what we were thinking we would do is cook them until they're about halfway done. Does that seem reasonable?
Yeah, I think so. I think so because it's going to not be a meal served at a specific time. Mm-hmm. It's going to be dinner and then, or lunch I should say,
yeah,
and then drop in. So it'll be in the crock pot for quite a while.
So what we're thinking is we will cook them for probably a half an hour, 45 minutes or so. We'll check them and then we're gonna transfer them in a crock pot and then they'll finish in the crock pot tomorrow.
That sounds like a good plan.
Okay. And then these bacon bits, I went ahead and actually cut twice as much that you saw me originally put in here because I forgot we're doubling this recipe. And we're gonna let these get, I don't like soggy bacon, so we're gonna let, you like them crispy too?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're gonna render them pretty good.
Yes.
And then we'll add them to the baked beans.
Good.
And then we'll add the onions. But now I think what we're gonna do is clean up just a little bit since we've got our 2 desserts in the oven and we're gonna start on our 2 salads. So we've got 2 salads we're gonna make. We're gonna make a coleslaw, which we're not gonna fully make it today because then it would be soggy. And we are going to prepare the Chipotle roast vegetable salad as well. This next salad, I've washed everything except for I still need to wash this bag, but we're going to roast the cauliflower and roast the carrots. The jalapenos, green onions, cilantro, and peas are gonna be left fresh and crunchy. Now this recipe is kind of a funny recipe. I can't even really call it a recipe because it's just been something that's been kind of made up and adapted over time. I made this for my sister when I was doing the pantry challenge this last winter, and I brought it to her house because we had dinner at her house because we didn't have any running water. So she invited us over for dinner, and I had made this, and I think that's what it was. I could be wrong on all the fine details because it was a while ago, but she asked me to make it again, and it's just funny because sometimes your new favorite meals come out of just making random things up based on what you have on hand. So I kind of had to go back and figure out what did I do so that I could replicate it. So I did roast the cauliflower, not till it was mushy. I still wanted to have a lot of yummy crunch to it. So I'm keeping these relatively large. We did do ourselves a favor and buy some already kind of cut up a little bit cauliflower for ourselves and pre-peeled carrots, which Costco has now. And so that makes it really, really easy.
Well, I just thought it would be really pretty to have the various color carrots in there.
I think you're right. So I like to cut the carrots kind of funky shaped a little bit. And I want to keep them relatively large. The original inspiration for this was actually my sister-in-law made a salad very similar to this when I had a dinner party one time that she brought over, and I kind of based it off that.
One tablespoon of cider vinegar.
Oh, I like that it has 2 different kind of vinegars in it.
4 teaspoons of sugar. 1.
So I'm gonna season my veggies with some oil, salt and pepper, and garlic powder. And now that we're looking at this dressing, Mom, I think we do need 1.5 of it.
Yeah, taste this. I don't like it, so I wouldn't taste it.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Celery seeds?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. All right.
But I would just do half the celery seed. Yeah.
Yeah, that was half the celery seed.
Perfect. Delicious.
So now it's half a cup of mayonnaise.
This is our favorite roasted garlic powder.
There's some roasted onion in there too.
That's what I got right here. Roasted onion powder. You can get this online, so I can link this for you if you're interested. So yummy. I think I'm gonna put some of this smoked salt on here too, because that'll go well with the dressing we're gonna put on this salad.
Now I have a question.
Yeah.
All the garlic we've harvested at your house over the years, have you ever roasted it and then freeze-dried it? The reason I'm asking is my sister is going to have a huge harvest of garlic, and she's wondering what else she can do with it besides just plain old freeze it. She'd like to make garlic powder.
Well, I have never roasted it and then freeze-dried it. I have freeze-dried it and turned it into powder. You can do that. She could dehydrate it and turn it into powder, or she can like blend it up and
make a paste
and freeze that in little cubes or something. But yeah, you can. I've never roasted it and then freeze-dried it, but I'm sure you could do that.
We should try that.
Yeah, we should.
I think we might be able to duplicate
Pensies?
Yeah, just give it a shot. I mean, there's so much garlic.
I have a whole bed. So I'm putting pepper on this now. And now my mom, that coleslaw is basically done once she does 1/2 recipe. She's just gonna toss that dressing in the fridge, and then tomorrow we'll put it in with the coleslaw mix. Now, one thing I don't think we mentioned earlier, the reason we don't think we need quite as much dressing, even though we're tripling the amount of coleslaw, like the actual cabbage part, and we're not tripling the dressing part, is because we use the shredded stuff from the store, which is really, really finely shredded, versus when I cut it with a knife, I can never get it that finely shredded. So I feel like it can hold more dressing when the cabbage is a little bit bigger.
The recipe called for using a mandolin too.
Okay.
So you can get it smaller with a mandolin.
Yeah.
If I liked mayonnaise, this would be pretty good. It smells very nice, but I just can't do the mayonnaise.
So we're not looking to get these super tender. We just want to get a nice little char on them. We want them to still be super crunchy, but we want them to not have that really raw flavor left. So just slightly cooked, slightly tender, but definitely not fully tender.
those are powerful with the seeds.
The reason I'm putting these herbs in this foil pan is because this is what we're gonna be serving all the dishes in tomorrow at the barbecue. What my sister has done is she has foil pans that are twice this size, and she put about 2 inches or 3 inches of water in them, and she has those in her freezer right now so that we can put these cold salads on top of the ice, because we're going to be eating outside and it's warm outside, so that they can stay nice and cool. So we're going to get all of the components for the salad in the container. We're gonna serve it in tomorrow. My mom is about to make the dressing. She's getting all the ingredients out she needs to make the Chipotle dressing, but we're not going to put the dressing on the salad until tomorrow, just like with the coleslaw. So the only other thing I need to do for this salad is wash these sweet peas up, and I'm gonna cut these on a bias and get these in here. These are going to be nice and raw and crunchy, and then we'll have the roasted carrots and cauliflower in the salad. I'm gonna cut these peas on a bias so you kind of get the look of the pea on the inside, and I just think that's pretty. I'm also gonna cut the 2 ends off just so that people don't have that stringy end. Just because I think that's pretty. Beautiful. Good job, Mom. So I think I'm gonna call these good. Mom, do you think these look good? They're roasted. I don't think I want them any more tender.
Let me stick a fork and see how soft they are.
That's a good idea. I want them to have quite a bit of crunch still.
Yeah, they're still crunchy.
Yeah. Does that look good?
Uh-huh. These are still real crunchy too.
Perfect.
Like really hard, that one.
Oh yeah, maybe we could put the carrot.
Yeah, the purple carrots are denser than the yellow carrots.
Are they? So maybe just a couple more minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Once I take these out of the oven, I am going to let them cool down absolutely completely before I stick them in with my sugar peas and my herbs, because I don't want these to cook or wilt or anything like that. So we're just gonna let those cool completely. We've got a timer. I think that's probably for the brownies. Let's take a look. Oh, those look good. You want me to take those out, Mom?
Yes, let me get a cooling rack.
Okay. There's something so delicious about a box brownie. Thank you.
Brownies used to be made here at my house probably 5 or 6 times, 7 times a year, because one of my son-in-laws, that's what he only wanted for desserts was brownies.
Costco.
Ghirardelli.
From Costco.
Brownies. And they moved away.
Yes.
And this is the first brownie I think I've made in a year, at least.
And I don't make brownies enough. I love brownies, but I never have them in my house. And
because
I'm excited about them.
Yeah, we'll make some for the family reunion.
That's
because
a good idea.
they keep really well.
Yeah, we should do that. So those are gonna cool, and then we will, are you gonna cut and frost those?
You know, it's a birthday party, so they need to be fancy. I'm gonna pipe dollops, I don't do roses, but you know, little twisty, flowery things, just to make it pretty, a squirt on each one.
Oh, nice.
And then I have a 3-tiered dessert serving plate. Yeah, tray.
Awesome.
That I'll put them on, and it will just be really cute.
I'm looking forward to it. This bacon was some pretty meaty bacon, and it has taken quite some time to cook down. I think it's almost where I want it, but what I'm gonna do while it continues to cook up just a little bit is I'm gonna go ahead and add the onions we chopped earlier, and we're gonna let these onions soften in with this bacon. I'm getting ready to finish the baked beans because my onions are almost done. I took the carrots out of the oven, and now we have both ovens turned off, so we're making progress. And my mom is going to start making the dressing for the roasted carrot and cauliflower salad. So we're gonna do a Chipotle dressing.
It calls for 1.5 cups of plain Greek yogurt. Okay, then it's a 1/4 cup of mayonnaise. I've had friends ask me how come I have so many rubber spatulas and wooden spoons. This is why. Because I don't just cook for 2 people. I cook for 2 people 75% of the time, but the rest of the time I cook with Becky or others for big events. And it really helps if you have enough utensils that you aren't having to wash it every single time. Okay, 3 Chipotles.
One of my favorite
1,
ingredients.
2, 3. We'll taste it, and if it's not enough, we'll put more in. Garlic, 3. I actually have 5. Then it's 3 teaspoons of lime juice and 3 teaspoons of olive oil. I just squeezed this fresh lime juice. I only need 3 for this, but I need the rest for the fruit salad. I need 3 teaspoons of this and 3 teaspoons of olive oil. And 3 teaspoons of honey. I should have put this upside down because it's going to take a long time.
Yeah.
I think I'll put it upside down and wait. Salt and pepper. Oh, this looks so pretty.
This would be a good marinade on some meat too.
Oh, on chicken, would that be good? Or to put it in burritos or tacos.
Oh. Ooh, that's good. There's some heat to it. You might want to put just a little bit more honey. But that's going to be really good on those sweet, crunchy vegetables.
That's good.
It is good. I don't think it needs any more salt, but you could maybe put just a touch more lime juice in it.
I was going to say I would put lime juice rather than honey.
Very, very good.
Because I taste sweet. Whoa, when you're done, it gets hotter.
There is definitely a heat to it.
It gets hotter.
So once my mom mixes that in.
Take one more test.
You're brave turning that on without putting the lid.
Well, I had just been doing it, so I don't want any more. It's too hot of my mouth.
Oh, yeah.
Is that
that's
better
perfect.
with a little more lime in it?
Yeah, that's absolutely perfect.
All right, now I'm going to find a dish to put that in.
And then that's done. So I'm gonna get going on the baked beans. I took a paper towel to soak up any of the excess grease out of the bacon and onions, but I did leave a little bit in there. To that, we're gonna add some tomato paste. The rest of this bottle of ketchup. I just added some water and shook that around to get the last of that out of there. Next, I'm gonna add some yellow mustard. I just sprayed with some nonstick spray, this measuring cup that we had measured the onions out with, and I'm gonna use this to measure out my molasses. That way it will slide right out of there.
All right, I'm gonna go get, I'll clean this mess up first.
I'm gonna add the garlic, brown sugar, and last but not least, Worcestershire. Oh, I need salt and pepper to this too. And now this is done. So this, my mom is going to start tonight, cook it about halfway, and then we'll finish it tomorrow. Is that what you were thinking, Mom?
Yeah, well, we'll just turn it on right now.
Okay.
That way I can see if it's gonna boil over and not in the night boil over.
And then my sister usually will taste test this and adjust the sweetness or acid level as needed once it's ready to serve. And we usually doctor it up at that point. Do you want this on low or high, Mom?
Let's do it on high and I'll get it like almost cooked today.
Okay.
I think that honey came in some kind of a gift package. All right, we're gonna go get some some mint. Those cakes are just about done. We had a bad freeze. This was a full bush. There was one right here.
Rosemary?
And one right there was a hedge with the mint kind of around and behind. That's all that survived after the ice storm we had.
My rosemary died this winter too.
So I used to know which areas were which mints.
This is the mint you want, I think, for the dressing.
Yeah.
This one right here. This is a beautiful one. That's a beautiful one.
Okay.
It smells fantastic.
I just cut it way back. Yes, a couple of days ago, I didn't think about the fact we were having this party with the fruit salad. Oh, I know.
You weren't making it.
I wasn't going to do the fruit salad. Because I could hack this down 3 or 4 inches and it will grow up beautiful. But I kind of left those big because the bushes were gone.
My mom's getting ready to make that dressing, but I wanted her to taste for tenderness on the collards.
It's a good time to put it in here.
Perfect.
Almost done.
One more dish done. So my mom just made my sister-in-law's dressing recipe. We made this for Easter. I will link the recipe. It is equal parts honey, lime juice, lime zest, and fresh mint that she just blended up. And we will put this on the fruit salad tomorrow. We are about to decorate the cakes, and so I'm going to take this lemon zest that my mom on accident forgot to put in the cake, and I'm going to mix this in with just some of the frosting that my mom is going to do a crumb coat on the cake. So no worries that the zest was forgotten. We'll still use it. The last big thing that needs to be done is to decorate the cake, and my dad just brought an iced tea, which is pretty fantastic. And so we've been working on cleaning the kitchen so that we can just kind of focus on decorating the cake. So the kitchen is almost all clean. My mom has done a fantastic job loading the dishwasher. It is one of her specialties, getting just one more dish in the dishwasher. And I will go ahead, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and wipe the counters down. Is there anything else you want me to do? We're waiting for the collards to cool.
Well, I'm gonna wipe it right here, and then I'm gonna take all these dish towels to the laundry, and we'll start fresh.
Pile here. And the cake should be cool enough to go ahead and frost those.
Yes, I think so.
And the collards were piping hot, so they're in that crock pot right there. They need to cool down before we can put them in the fridge. Cheers.
I need a drink. Oh, I am going to try out my new cup. I'm going to try it.
So if you missed it, we went to Costco and my mom bought these really nice insulated cups.
And I washed them in the dishwasher per the instructions before I used them. And I'm going to put some ice and some sparkling water in.
The handles are removable, which is kind of cool. I didn't buy them, but my mom bought 2, so she got 4. So you can have it either just like a tumbler type or one. You're going to like the handle. I've never had one with a handle. You're going to like it.
I think it might be easier to hold than to hold this all the time.
What do you think of the cup?
I like the cup. I switched from the giant straw to a medium size. This is one I already had. Their small was even smaller than this in diameter. So this is what I normally use. It fits in the same hole, obviously. And the big one, I almost drowned.
So we've got our 3 cakes that we just baked up today. I got the counter clean. We've got the frosting that my mom's gonna crumb coat it with that has the lemon zest.
Great. I was just gonna ask that.
Yep. And she's got all of her cake decorating stuff out. Now, she is going to use some food coloring to decorate this cake.
And my daughter recommended I use this. She actually got it for me. I've not used it before. I normally, when doing frosting, because I don't want to add necessarily liquid to it, they have in a little jar, it's a gel, like a paste, and it doesn't change the texture because it's not liquid. That's normally what I use, but she asked me to use this, so we'll see how it works.
So it'll be a review of the Watkins assorted colors, but I think we're just going to use the blue color, right?
Yeah, that's all I'm going to use. These were the originals, and
we made yesterday.
Yes, and these are what we made today. So we're going to make it 6 high.
Perfect. I brought from my house lemon curd, so we are going to put in the middle layers lemon curd. I made this up and froze it, and it thaws out beautifully. There's just a little bit of plastic wrap on the top so it doesn't form a skin.
Now I have a question. Do I need to put a thin layer of frosting to prevent it from sogging into the cake?
I have never used lemon curd in a cake before, so I'm not sure. But what I probably would do is put a little...
Yes, frosting around the edge.
If it absorbs into the cake, it might just make the cake more moist instead of dry out.
But I just didn't want it to make it solid, make it good. Now we're going to do 6 layers, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we use about a third.
Yes.
On each layer.
You want to taste it? I made it with Meyer.
We'll get it off the plastic.
Here, I got it right here for you.
Okay.
I made it with Meyer lemons. Pretty good.
I saw the video. Very
Pretty
tasty.
good.
Oh, that's very tasty. All right. Whoa. I got some bigger piping bags.
This is where things get a little bit interesting when it comes to decorating this cake. And you will see just exactly why. So I'm going to kind of act as my mom's sous chef because she definitely has a lot more experience when it comes to cake decorating. So the first thing I did for her is fill up her piping bag with cream cheese frosting that we added the lemon zest to. So we wanted to add the lemon zest because we wanted to make sure we got that lemon zest flavor in there, but we only added it to the frosting that my mom is using to pipe around to hold in the lemon curd and the crumb coat, because when it comes to actually decorating the cake, we don't want lemon zest in the frosting because it might show through the final decoration. So we are just stacking cakes upon cakes as we fill them with lemon curd. Now the middle layer, because we don't have quite enough lemon curd to fill all of them, my mom decides to go ahead and just put cream cheese frosting all the way across on the middle layer, and then the bottom 2 layers have lemon curd and the top 2 layers are going to have lemon curd on them. Now, one thing you're going to notice is that cream cheese frosting and lemon curd are starting to kind of ooze out of the side of the cake. And normally my mom puts 3 skewers in her cakes to stabilize them. And at this point, there's probably 10 skewers in this cake throughout the cake because these cakes are fresh. The first 3 cakes that we baked the day before were never frozen, and obviously we just baked the other cakes and those are not frozen. And right now the weight of the cake is definitely pressing down on the bottom layers, and the frosting is pretty soft, and so the frosting and curds are starting to quickly come out of the cake, and we're starting to get a little bit worried about this cake.
This cake is very soft. Typically when my mom decorates cakes, she decorates them from frozen, but we had to bake a few more today so that we had enough to make a tall cake. So what we're gonna do is go pop this in the freezer. We're gonna go get lunch so it can firm up, harden up, and sit up tall, and then we can come back and decorate it. We don't usually have this problem because I think we usually do it from frozen cakes.
Yes, and it causes the frosting to solidify a lot. Oh, help.
You need me to help?
Here we go.
Are the doors open?
Yes, I left the refrigerator door open.
We just got back from lunch and we were a little worried about this cake when we left for lunch because it was pretty soft.
And it was sliding. It was going northeast and southwest and over to the side. As you can see, we've tried to stabilize it with skewers, and then the pressure oozed the filling out, so I've been trying to scrape it off.
It's been what, probably 2 hours?
Yeah,
an hour
and a half anyway.
And so the frosting has had time to firm up.
So with the skewers, I think it's gonna stay now, and we'll put it right back in the refrigerator as soon as we're done.
And she's gonna be able to fill in all these spaces. So obviously there's still spaces here. We're going to fix all of those imperfections with a little bit of frosting. I did do one thing before we left. I made one more thing of frosting that's just plain so that my mom can mix in the color and she can frost the cake with the colored frosting. This is the lemon flavored frosting, and this is what she's going to use to fill in all those spaces and correct any sort of...
Essentially make a thick crumb coat to level it out.
I don't know if I fully expressed the level of stress we had about this cake before we left for lunch. We just kept saying, at least it'll taste good. At least it will taste good. Because we did not think that this cake, with the weight of the 6 tiers and the soft lemon curd filling, was going to stand up straight. So the fact that it's looking this good at this point, we are like, oh my goodness, we just might be able to make this happen. And we end up actually popping this in the freezer after my mom gets the crumb coat on, and that is the key. So this cake does end up turning out beautifully, but there was definitely a couple hours there we were not sure. So I'm about to go pop that cake in the freezer.
Weren't quite sure if we had enough frosting. Better to have a little too much than not enough. So we're gonna make a little bit more frosting here. So I have 1 stick of cream cheese in here, 1 stick of butter, probably about 3 teaspoons, maybe 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And then I'm gonna mix in powdered sugar until it's the consistency I want. So there's that. And then I'm probably gonna put about half this bag. And then while we're waiting for the cake to freeze in the freezer, my mom's gonna start coloring the frosting that I made right before we left. So here, this is the one with the least amount.
Okay.
Yeah, from the bottom.
Whoa, 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 whoa! You know what helps? If you put a towel
I know,
over it.
I know.
Or you go slow.
Yeah, it's okay, I'll clean it up. My mom was saying earlier, I think that this is the first time we are doing a party or preparing for a party where we don't then have to clean the kitchen to have the party at your house. I'm covered. The frosting we just made turned out a little bit lighter than the one I made earlier. So we're gonna go ahead and dye that one blue. Let me get...
I kind of like the different lines of color, but I'm going to pipe it anyway, so I don't know if that will show up.
Do you want more?
Yes, please. See how easy this comes out now? And it's much easier to cut, not in the pan.
My mom got out her cake stand she's going to put the brownies on, but she will frost them tomorrow when she gets to my sister's house. I think I'm going to take a little sample here.
Now it's time for my mom to go ahead and decorate this cake. And what we did is we actually had this cake in the freezer for probably about an hour. So while the cake was in the freezer, we finished, or not finished, but we kept cleaning up the kitchen. My mom worked on getting the brownies cut up, and we just kind of tied up some loose ends. So to decorate this cake, the first thing she did was go ahead and she frosted the top portion of the cake with the darkest blue frosting. And when she was almost done with that, I took the dark blue frosting and I added a bunch of white to it to lighten it up. So it's going to go from very dark blue on the top to kind of a medium blue, and then it's going to be all white at the very, very bottom. So what she did is after she got a nice pretty clean edge around the top. Then she took the medium blue and kind of just got some of it on there, kind of globbed on there. I don't know the proper term. So I'm just going to use that term, blobbed. And then she kind of worked around getting that evenly spaced around. And then she took the all white frosting and she she placed that frosting around the bottom, and then she took her straight edge and she ran that around and around and around. And there were some areas where there was like little air pockets, and so what she would do is take her offset spatula with the coordinating frosting and fill in the air pockets, and then she would take her straight edge and straight edge around and around and around. She said this was more difficult than doing it when it's not ombre, because obviously you want to try to keep that gradient. If you're doing a solid color, she said it's much easier to get a straight edge a lot quicker. Mom, it's looking so beautiful.
I think this is the last time I'm going to go around.
My mom was saying when she does this, her trick to get really smooth sides is to go upwards. But when you've got an ombre, you don't want to do that because then you're going to mix all the colors together.
My mom wanted to transfer this cake to a larger cardboard round. The cake is sitting on a cardboard round right now, but it just fits the cake, and she wanted one on a little bit larger one. So this was a little nerve-wracking, but we were able to transfer it, and then we are going to decorate it with the decorations my sister got and asked my mom to decorate. Now this really right here, these little clouds that my mom pipes on, is what brings this cake over the top. I am just so impressed that my mom was able to do this just by looking at a inspiration picture that my sister sent her, plus the little embeds that she was given.
I think my mom nailed it. So I'm going to show you what the original inspiration photo was.
It really looks good.
Yeah, it looks great.
This angle with the dark, it makes this look really dark.
So the only difference between my mom's and the original is they had little beads for the little clouds. So my mom just piped on little clouds, but I think that looks fantastic, Mom.
By the way, those beads will crack your teeth.
Yeah, there you go. We're just saving someone a visit to the dentist. So there we go, perfect. The cake is done. This is now cooled, so we're covering everything, this and the brownies, getting those, well, not the brownies in the fridge probably, but
Covering them.
Yes, getting them covered, getting the collard greens covered. The beans, I just checked them and they're still very, very firm. So my mom's just gonna cook these until she goes to bed tonight, and then she's going to throw them in the fridge and we'll finish them off tomorrow. My dad is stepping in and doing the dishes for us. So he started doing the dishes while my mom was decorating the cake. And I will show you what this all looks like wrapped up tomorrow. So we got all the things that we're gonna get done today, and it's just gonna be a fun dinner. So I will see you tomorrow when we wrap this entire meal up.
My brother-in-law smoked 2 pork butts and they turned out incredible. So right when I got to my sister's house, he had just taken the pork butts off the smoker. My mom got to my sister's house probably about an hour early to get all the food over there and set up. We got the salad dressing dressed on the fruit salad. My mom dressed the coleslaw, and then we decided that the Chipotle dressing was probably too spicy for half the people that were going to be there. So we just left that on the side and people could put the dressing on their veggies as they wanted. So here are the brownies and the dessert my mom made. And then we've got the pork that my brother-in-law made. And then my sister-in-law brought the corn salad. So it was a family affair to get this whole dinner put together. Thank you, friend, for being with my mom and I yet again for another wonderful cooking day in the kitchen, where we got to take time to hang out together, enjoy each other's company, make some delicious food, and bless my sister and her new baby. So friend, thank you so much for being here. If you want to watch a few more videos from me and my mom, I'll pop them here. You can go enjoy between now and my next upload. I hope you are having a fantastic day, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye, friend.